Hey guys, it's Mr. Abbey with the Academy of Science and Citizenship. I've got my lovely science assistant here again today to help me do we're going to do a quick experiment. We're going to finish up our section on light this week, but since it's been so cloudy, I can't do the experiment I want. So I figured we would do a nice quick activity that's really easy to do. It's a wonderful summertime activity that people used to have to do before we had smartphones and camera phones on us all the time. If you wanted to take something back with you without having a whole bunch of leaves that would dry up and crumble away, what you would do is you would take what's called a leaf rubbing. So we're going to do some leaf rubbings together. We're going to show you how to do that. They're a great addition to your science notebook, and they're really easy to label, so you can get a copy of a lot of different kind of leaves. You can see a lot of their features. You can keep them forever, and you can take little notes on the sides of them. All you really need are some leaves. We got a really big one, but we got a whole bunch of different kinds here. And a crayon, but you don't want the paper on the side. To make it a little easier, we're using little extra crayon nubbins that we took off of an old set of crayons, right? So these are nice and flat. You're going to use the side of these. You need a piece of paper and some leaves. Oh boy. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take one of our leaves. We've got a whole bunch of different kinds, and I'm going to take a bunch of different kinds of leaf rubbings for you guys, and I'll show you all my notes Friday on what we're going to do there. Maybe Thursday this week, since we've been doing a lot of Fun Fridays then. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of paper. You're going to take your piece of paper, take your favorite leaf. Which one's your favorite leaf? We got a lot of different pretty ones. We got pine needles. We got different kinds of pine needles. These are from a hemlock. We got some fern fronds. We've got some nice, what we call palmate leaves. I'm going to take some notes on that while we work on that. You want to do the big one? Yeah. Nice big one. All right. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're not going to put it on top of your paper. What you're going to do is you're actually going to flip her over, and you're going to put your leaf, your favorite leaf. I'm going to start with this one, a nice oak leaf. And I'm going to put my paper on top of my leaf. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your crayon sideways. I highly recommend when you put your paper on top of your leaf, you see you got the side with all the veinies, and then you got the kind of flat side. I really recommend use the spot where the veins are all lifted up and everything. That's going to show up a little bit better under your paper. Then you're going to take your crayon sideways crayon, and you're just going to rub. That's why I call it a leaf rubbing. You're going to rub over the top of your leaf. And you're going to go all around your leaf. Make sure you get that stem in there really good. All the different sides of it. And what you should end up with is you should be able to see all the veins of your leaf. Yeah, keep it up. Now, if you do a really good job, you'll see here, I've got kind of the edges of my leaf there too. That's really good because, yeah, look at that. Now, do you see? Let's show them both together, okay? Do you see how the veins in both of our leaves are kind of different? They branch in different ways. They shoot out in different ways. And the edges of our leaves are really different too, aren't they? So, what are you going to do? I'm going to get another piece of paper. You want another piece of paper too? I'm going to do another leaf. So you can see here, this leaf has really smooth edges. I want to do one. I'm going to have you do one too, with really kind of sharp edges. That's called a serrate edged leaf. It's actually called the margin of the leaf is the edge. You want to do that one? That's a good one. Go for it. So we're going to take our paper once again. We're going to make sure our veins of our leaf are facing up. And we're going to put our paper right on top. Now when you rub it, I'm going to rub the leaf. You want to make sure to get the whole leaf. want to make sure I get the whole leaf so you can see all those little features. Because if you're putting this into a nature journal, it makes it really easy to do some labeling. You see how I got all those little sharp edges on the edge of that leaf? So what I can do here now is I can do a little label, and I can say that's serrate. Like a serrated steak knife. Kind of like a serrated steak knife. I can put my notes on there and say that's a serrate leaf margin. I can point here and show that that's the stem. I got to get better at writing backwards for you guys, because as we know on the camera, everything looks like it's backwards, right? Maybe I should show you guys my notes through a glass of water, huh? Oh, that's looking great, Hunter. So you see how when Hunter did her leaf, you can see all those little lobes when a leaf goes in like that. My leaf that I did this time is called a pinnate leaf because it's straight like a pin. But the leaf Hunter did this time, this one's called a palmate kind of leaf because it's almost like a hand. It branches out like a hand. And those little indents there, those are called lobes. So she got A. Well, I'm going to write a little label here that says that that's palmate. But there's a palmate leaf. Very good, Hunter. You want to do one more with me?
Sure.
So I'm going to do a tough one. Do you want to do the fern, Hunter? That's a really good one. Ferns are really interesting plants. Another thing I hope you're noticing here is that all the different kinds of leaves we have, I got them all from different kinds of plants. Yeah, show that fern. Little under there, you see those little dots. Those are called lenticels, and those are where the spores come out for ferns, because ferns don't have seeds. So I hope you're noticing here too that all the different kinds of leaves we have, they're from different plants, and there's a lot of different kinds of leaves out there. There are leaves with smooth edges. There are leaves with really sharp, jaggy edges. There's ones with kind of wavy edges. There are all sorts of different kinds of plants out there, and when you notice a different kind of plant, I highly recommend always go with an adult, and don't go around picking anything that you don't know what it is, because it could be dangerous. But when you know what you're grabbing, like these pine needles, they're kind of a challenge, but you can do a rubbing of just about any kind of plant. I'm just going to lay my pine needles flat, and I'm going to rub them out yet again. And you just want to get all the edges of your plant, and if you go over, no big deal. Because where you rub on the plant, you're going to see those needles. How'd yours come out? Wow. You can really see those little spore nubbies on there, can't you? That's really cool, and that's a really unique part about this kind of plant. So if you wanted to, Hunter, you could even take a pencil or a pen, and you could point out that that's where the spores come from. Very good. So you can do this with just about any kind of leaf. You can do it with pine needles. You can do it with pine cones, anything interesting that you find out there. Big leaves, small leaves. All depends on the kind of paper you have. And when you get to the point, if you look them up in a book, or if you learn how to identify different kinds of plants, you can do leaf rubbings inside your journals. And then you can say, like, I know, oop, lost my pencil. I know that this is an oak leaf. And I could put that in my nature journal, and I'll know what those look like all the time. And I can go back to it and be like, yep, that looks like an oak leaf, because I can see the lobes, and I can see the wavy edges, and the fact that it's smooth around the edges. That I always know that that's an oak leaf. Because it's pinnate, because it's straight. It's got lobes, but it's kind of straight more than it is palmy, like a palmate. So there's lots of different kinds of things you can do with leaf rubbings. You can learn all sorts of stuff about different plants, and you can notice different things too, because when you're looking at all the green here, it's like, wow, it's really hard to tell what's going on there. But when I look at a really nice leaf rubbing like Hunter did here, you can see all the different veins and how they go. And if you look up in a book, you can even identify different plants using the different ways the veins go, the ways the edges of the leaves are, if they're serrated, if they're really smooth. You can see how the stem comes up through. That's called the midrib, that really thick stem that goes up through. And not all leaves have that big, thick one in the center. So I really hope that we're noticing that. Let me switch. That all kinds of leaves, there are all kinds of different leaves out there on different plants, and that's one big way of trying to tell them apart. And it's one way to see the variation, like we were talking about in our animal section, the variation in different kinds of, oh, and Hunter wrote her name on hers too. She's doing great at stuff like that. You can see the variation in different kinds of leaves and how they all grow up. Like,
I even sketched that leaf.
This one's a witch hazel. I know that because the leaves they're not symmetrical. They're not the same on one side versus the other. They're kind of lopsided over here. They've got wavy margins. So I know that this one is witch hazel, whereas this one, with its serrated, really sharp-looking edges, I know this one is a beech leaf. One of my friends, when I was learning how to identify trees, said that, a beech leaf, because they kind of look like shark teeth, and sharks live at the beach. So it's a great way to identify different kinds of plants and really get a look at how different they are and save them for later. So you can tell, oh yeah, I remember that when I see where did our fern go? Oh my, we lost our fern leaf. Oh, we got the picture, I suppose.
I even sketched out.
So I know that when I find a fern, that they have those little spore spots. So when I see, thank you. So when I see a frond that looks like that, and it's got those little bumpies on the bottom of the leaves, very pretty on top, little bumpies on the bottoms, I happen to know that is a fern because I wrote it right in my notes. If I'm looking for a basswood leaf, I know that they have the veins that all spread out. I know they're huge. It's a big old leaf like Hunter drew here in her notes. I know the way that their veins spread out. It's a really good way to keep track of what you've learned and what you've seen out in nature. And even if you don't know exactly what they are, like our oak and our maple leaves, I know what those are. A lot of us know what those look like just on sight. But you might remember if you write in your notes that a maple is palmate, whereas an oak is pinnate, because it's nice and straight, whereas they're kind of more spread out like a hand. So it's a great way to remember. Here, Hunter is shading me with our basswood leaf, big old heart-shaped leaf. And I hope you guys have fun in your nature adventures and you have fun doing your leaf rubbings. I would love to see pictures of your leaf rubbings if you guys could send them to me. And I will see you guys over the course of the week. We'll do some better notes on these bad boys. We'll put them in our journals and we'll write a little bit about them. So I'm going to see you a little later in the week, and I hope you guys have a great time doing these.